Hello everyone and welcome back to Crazy Academy. It's really nice that you're giving us so big responses. So today's session is all about implementing read and write operations on your file using OOPS concepts. Now what is the basic OOPS concepts that we come across? That is abstraction, encapsulation, modularity, inheritance, polymorphism. But we are not going to focus on the later part. We're going to focus on the first three modules. That is the first three concepts. That is your modularity, your encapsulation, your abstraction. So abstraction means when you will be using all those things, or you will be writing inside your program all those things that you require to implement or to build up the program. Once you have recorded all those requirements, okay, then you club them inside one specific class. That is called as encapsulation. That means you're wrapping up all your data together and storing it in one particular place, and that particular place is called as class. Then we are saying that modularity means dividing a big program into a small modules or small functions and then combining them together into a class and running them. So let's see how we will be doing that. Okay, if you have not gone before this, if you have not gone through the read and write programs, please go through that, because we will be just focusing how we create or how we will be dividing our program into modules, and how we will be specifying that how we will call them inside your functions, okay, inside your class. So that is the main focus. I will not be explaining here what is file reading and what is file writing. That I have already done in the previous session, so you can just go through them. And today's focus is on how we will implement modularity in your using your functions, okay, using your this whole program, how you will implement modularity, encapsulation and abstraction. So let's have a look on that. We will need to open your Eclipse, and I have already opened it up. So this is the Eclipse, and this is a workspace where you will be writing your whole program. So first thing, I need to create a class. So right click on your package, go to new, and then go on to class option, because this is a simple class. Okay, so first of all, we need to make sure that we are creating a class inside your program, inside your Eclipse or inside your NetBeans, or even if you're a real big beginner, then you can just use BlueJ also. That will also work fine for you. And also you can make it in your notepad also. So let me give the name for the class, that is method file. Okay, just giving method file. Why? Because I will be dividing this whole big project or this whole big program into small modules, and it will be having your it will definitely contain different modules or different functions. So just to specify the class name you can keep as per your requirement. Okay, then I'm also clicking on I'm ticking on the button for public static void main. This is a very important part. Okay, I need this main function to execute all the things. So I'm just clicking on yes and then finish, nothing else. So my class is created. Now what different things I will require in order to work with this? Okay, so this is my class, which is of public type. That means it can be accessible inside your package, even outside your packages. Then I have main function. With this main function, I will be calling my different methods that are present inside my class. And if you don't have main function inside your class, you won't be able to access them. You won't be able to use them. Yes, you can declare them, everything you can write inside the code. But if you want that particular part should happen, or that particular function or that code should run, then it is very necessary that you need main function inside your class. Or if you want that main function should be a part of any other class, that also you can do that. But without main function, you cannot execute anything. So when you're making a simple core Java program without main function, you cannot execute. So you just need to keep in mind, if you're trying to execute anything without main function, it won't run. Okay. What are the things that I will be requiring? One is read function. Right, I will be reading the data, what is there inside my file. I need to read it, and then printed on my screen. That is reading. Reading means when you are reading something from your file. What is there inside your file? You're just trying to read it. That is your read function. Then I'm saying write. Write function says what you want, which content you want, that should get stored inside your file. That means it should write inside your file. So that is why we will use a write function. Third function, display function. Display function is in the sense if your execution is successful, if your file is handled very properly, if everything is done perfectly, then use display function to write on your console panel to display the thing as it is successful. Your task is successful. Then, and the fourth one, the most important one is your main function. Main function will allow you to access all these three functions: read, write, display. All these three functions you can access them by calling one by one, and then you can use it for displaying the content. Whatever you want to do, you can perform. Now, if I say read function will have your content as there will be some numbers. Okay, as per the earlier programs that we have done, we have accepted two values from the user, two numbers from the user. We have stored them. Then we have stored them, and after when we were retrieving them, so that when I retrieve it, sum should get calculated. Okay, they should get added together, and the sum should get displayed on the console panel. So that was the read function. So read function will retrieve. It will retrieve two numbers. Okay, that numbers which you have stored inside your file. Two numbers and add them and then display. Right? So what it says that you will be retrieving the data. That means two numbers that you have stored, you need to retrieve them in the format of integers, add them, that means produce the sum, and then display the sum. Then write function says accept two numbers from user and add them and store them into your file. Nothing to be displayed here. You are just accepting the two data, two values from the user, and you will be printing them, or you will be printing them inside your file, or you will be storing them inside your file. Display function will only say success if it is working fine. If your both the things have gone fine, read and write functions are working fine, then success will be printed on your screen. And main function is calling all these functions or above three functions. Okay, so let's see how are we going to do this inside our Eclipse. So as I told, what are the member functions that we will be requiring is, one is your read function. So I will be declaring it as public void read. Okay. This is my one function, public void read. Read is the function name, or you can just mention read a file. Okay, read file is the function name, and void is the data type, return type. That means it is a default return type which will not return anything. Public is the access specification. Okay, access specifier. That means read file is a function which can be accessible anywhere inside your project. Then next thing, I need a main one more function, which is write function. So I'll use void public void write file. Okay, don't you have a question regarding this? If I don't write void, what will happen? Or if I don't write public, what will happen? If you don't write void, okay, then your function declaration is incomplete. That means you need to mention any kind of return type. You can either mention int, you can mention a string, whatever type, integer type of data, or any type of function you want. But if you mention void, it means it will not return anything. But yes, you need to mention a data type. Then when you're saying public means you're telling its access. Where can it be accessed? That means within your class can it be accessed, within your whole package it can be accessed, or within your whole project it will be accessed. When you say public, it will be accessible inside your whole project. That means inside my Java project, it will be handled anywhere I want. I can use it anywhere I want. Then if I write private, then only within this class I can access it. I cannot access it outside my package also. Outside my class also I cannot access. When I mention protected, then I can access it within my simple package. That is, Java file is a package in which I can access that function if it is protected. But I cannot access it anywhere outside my project. It's only for this particular package. So there are some restrictions and privacy issues when we mention all those things. Okay, currently we don't have any, so we will be working on that. Now, one more thing that we need is your public void display. And I know what I need to write in display is that it should print successful. So I'll just write system.out.println, right? And I'll just mention success. And then semicolon. This is the body of my display function. This one line represents the body of my display function. This is the declaration part of my function. Okay. Now what I need is I need to retrieve the data from the file, and I want to store the data into the file. Retrieving the data means file retrieve. So whatever part you have already written inside your file retrieve Java file that I have done already in the last session. Okay, and all that code which was the part of your main function, you just need to copy it and paste it inside your file read file method, okay, of your method file.class. Why I'm doing that? Because everything I want should get executed. Okay, and if I am dividing my program into small parts, then definitely the code will be same, only the way of execution will change. Now I have divided my full program, okay, my full logic into 4 different places. One is your reading, one is your writing, other one is your displaying, and the fourth one is when should they get executed. That is the main function. Okay, so when you were creating earlier, you were creating it in terms of main function. Now you're treating that full particular concept with the help of methods. That is modularity, one of the concept of hooks. So within main function, see, this is my main function. Whatever is present, I'll just copy it. And for understanding why I'm copying this, please go through the earlier sessions, and you can just search this on my channel. Okay, just copy this. Okay, you need to make sure which function it is. File retrieve. File retrieve means you have to read the data from the file. So you will store it and paste it inside your file retrieve method. Now there will be some errors which you need to resolve. First thing, you need to mention throws IO exception. Why IO exception we will be writing? Because IO exception says your file, you are using something, you will be using your keyboard, your mouse, enter keys and all, everything to work on it. So that is why it is a file input output option operation is going up. So that is why we are writing IO exception. Okay, so see, that is still giving me an error. It says IO exception cannot be resolved. So I need to import the package of exception handling. So here's the option, IO import package. And actually in Eclipse, it becomes really easy to identify your errors. Everything is available to you, right? But the thing is, you should be able to identify what error actually it is. Okay, so first part we have done. Actually 2 parts we have done, display part and your file reading part. Now one more thing we can add on this. If things are working fine, okay, if there is no exception, then my display function should be called and it should display success onto the console panel, right? So this is what I have to do over here. Okay, now because of this try and catch block Okay, in try, if everything is working fine, it will print the result as sum equals to, and whatever the values it is, it will get added. But if it is not possible, then what will happen? Catch will get called and your exceptions will be displayed on your console panel. So that means try and catch block we can use for calling your display function. What exactly you need to do? Nothing, just need to say display. As your display function is a void type, you don't need to call it where you don't need any variable to store it and then call that particular function. Okay, and actually you're not passing any arguments in it. It is an empty argument. See, you're not passing anything in this. Passing means you're not writing anything inside this braces. If you will write anything inside this braces, then definitely you need to mention it over here, right? Okay, so this is the part. This is how we are calling your display function inside your file read file method. Now I also need to call my read file method inside my main function. Until and unless I will not call it, it will not get executed. So main function is the must. Okay, without this we cannot do anything. You write each and every code, but you're not accessing your functions inside your, or you're not calling your functions inside your main function, then definitely it won't work. Now, before going to main function, let us also copy the content of write file. So this is my file that I have created for write file. Okay, writing the content into the file. You need to again go back to the write file program, which I have already given it on my YouTube channel. Then you just go, you need to go have reference what I'm trying to do, and then you can implement it. Okay, again we will copy the content and write it inside, or we will paste it inside void write file method. Okay, and again we need to write throws IO exception. Okay, and then we are good to go. And also before that we again need to call our display function. Again the simple method, after the things are executed, then call display function with its name directly. No variable required, no argument required to be passed, nothing, just calling the display function. Okay, because we have mentioned it as void, and also we have not mentioned any arguments to be passed in it. That is why nothing else, we just need to pass it with the display, its name. Now we have done the modular part, that how we will be declaring things inside the module. Now I need to call it all these things inside my main function. Now how will I do that? The first thing is you need to create object of the class. You need to create object of the class. With that particular object you will be able to access your functions. Okay, you will be able to access your functions that you have mentioned inside your class with the help of objects of that class. How we do that? Okay, I'm just writing a syntax over here in this. Create object class. And here is the syntax for this. Class name, an object name, okay, equal to new is a keyword, and then class name, and then these two braces. Now when you write class name along with this braces, it says that you have written a constructor. Okay, so this is the way you, just for an example, if your class name is as A, okay, small a, then its object creation will be A. Object name is like obj equals to new, then A. Okay, get this? Now let's go ahead and declare the object of the class. So what is the class name? Method. You need to make sure every word that you're writing is similar with the name of your class. Okay, method file obj, equals to new method file braces done. Now I need to use this obj to call my functions. The first thing I will say, I'll just mention system. It depends on you how you want to call your functions. Okay, system.println. Write something in your file. Okay, and then I'll just call the function. Now this is the major part. Let me write it again. Okay, now how will I use this object to call my functions? Calling functions in main function using object that you created. And the syntax is again object name dot function name and then braces and then comma. So example, it will be like obj dot my function. Okay, my function, and then like this. So if my function is the name of my function, then I will say obj dot my function, obj dot a, obj dot b, obj dot c, whatever the function name is that we need to mention. So let's see how we will call it after declaring your object. So object is obj dot write file comma. If you have passed any values inside it, then what you need to write? You need to use, you need to pass any particular arguments that you have. Okay, and again in your main function you need to mention throws IO exception, because it is giving us an error, because you're going to call something which is going to handle a particular module you're going to call inside your main function, which is going to handle your file handling part. Okay, so next statement, once it is done, system.out.println, you just need to mention reading the content of file. Okay, and then obj dot, see at the top the option is coming read file. And that's it, we are done. See, within read and write functions we have called your display function. So that is not necessary, it is not actually necessary to call your display function. Even if you want to call it, how will you do that? Obj dot display, and then that's it. Now you will save this. Let's try to run this, and hopefully there is no error in it. See, write something inside your file. The first number you have to enter is 1. Second number is 2. Okay, and then enter. So success, what it is saying? Success, reading the content from the file. Once success is already called, that means in the list 1, 2 was passed. It was stored properly inside your file. Then you have read the data from the file. Sum equals to 3, and again success. This success is a part of your read function. The last success that you have written, okay, this one, it is the part of your main function when you called it. I hope this was clear to you and it was a very effective program for understanding modular approach. If yes, then do like my channel, subscribe it, and hopefully you will wait for my new lessons to come up. So take care and wait for my new lessons to come across. Bye.